If you can do that with a smooth, unhurried stroke, you'll make 99% of these 3-footers. Just like that. Well, this is a little technique that a lot of guys on tour use when they're working on their game. And what I've done, I've just popped a chalk line, you know, a carpenter's chalk line, and it enables me to work on a straight putt, and I can work on my alignment of the blade and then the path of my stroke all in one, and really develop a good feel for a good solid stroke.
Yeah. Look at this here.
Let me show you here. See, with the line down there, obviously everybody says you ought to be able to see the line as you're putting to the hole. And this just makes it much more visible for us. So I can set up here. I can tell when the face is square to the target because it's perpendicular to the chalk line. And then I can just determine if my stroke is straight back and straight through by the fact that the ball goes down there. I can actually watch the stroke and do a little checking on it.
Well, that's smooth.
And make sure that the stroke is basically straight back and straight through.
You're keeping the blade square going back and coming through?
Exactly, yeah. I want the blade to work right along that chalk line, have the center point of the putter on the line, have the center point on the line, and then right on straight through toward the hole. When you're working on the technique of your stroke, this is the way to do it. You pick out a straight putt, you're working on your stroke. And you can see that's going straight back and straight through.
And when you're out there on the course, do you imagine you see that line?
Exactly, yes. Now sometimes it may be a breaking putt, and my line may not be going toward the hole. You know, but in my mind, every putt is a straight putt, Ron. Now what I have to do if I have a breaking putt is pick a point out to the right or left of the hole where I want the ball to start, and then again, in my mind, I try to picture that as a straight putt going right for that point, knowing that gravity will take over, and sooner or later it'll start breaking down. I try to keep everything as square as possible. I don't really worry too much about my feet. There have been too many really good putters that putted with a closed stance like a Gary Player, or Ben Crenshaw puts with an open stance like this, and they've all been really good putters through the years, so the feet don't really matter. So really I don't care too much about where your feet are, and I don't really care about everybody trying to copy Tom Kite or everybody trying to copy Ben Crenshaw. I don't think that's the way to do it, but you find out what your position is. But one thing that does seem to show up among all the really good putters is that their upper body is really square to the line. If you drew a line right across the top of their forearms this way, that would be going right toward the hole, or just barely left of the hole, parallel left. And that would enable them to, when they stroke the putt, to have that blade going straight back and straight through on that target line.
Now, are you wrist putter or hand putter or pendulum putter, arm putter? What would you consider yourself?
Claude, I guess I'm probably a combination of both, arm and shoulders predominantly in my stroke, but I've got a little wrist action in there. But these principles really don't vary no matter whether you're a wrist putter or an arm and shoulder putter. If you set up down the line and take the putter straight back, be it with your wrist like this, or with your arm and shoulders like I was demonstrating just a minute ago, as long as the putter moves straight back and straight through down the line and the club face is square, mainly the club face being square, you're going to have a pretty good shot of making some putts.
Doesn't seem
Maybe I ought to try that wristy action there. That seems to be working pretty good.
Doesn't seem to make much difference then, as long as that blade is square all the way through.
That's
right?
Exactly right. From that position there, you can just do it. Now, obviously, this is just on a straight putt. And once you get to a breaking putt, you have to picture in your mind that you have a straight putt, but that the point that you're shooting for is not the hole, but some point outside the hole.
You don't see the curve on the line then?
I see a starting line.
Yeah.
A starting line, the point that I want the ball to start over. And when I have a breaking putt, well, here, let me hit a breaking putt and I'll show you. Come on over to this hole. I've got a chalk line set up on this breaking putt. Now, this is obviously a pretty big right-to-left break, but in my mind, what I'm trying to do is the same thing as on that chalk line. They were putting on the straight putt, except now I'm putting right here, knowing that gravity is going to take over.
In other words, you're aiming right down that line.
That's exactly right. I'm going to set up where I'm square right down the line, exactly the way I was on the straight putt, and hopefully the putt will go straight. The putter head will go straight back, straight through, and come down in the hole.
All right.
Now, what happens when you get on a breaking putt is that we realize how important speed is. Now, you can make a perfect stroke like I did on that last one, right down the chalk line, but if you hit it too hard, it's going to go way on through the break.
Right.
It's okay.
Or if you hit it too easy, it's obviously going to break off before it ever gets to the hole. Starts right down the line and then just falls short. Ooh. Well,
I like those short.
yeah, that would be the perfect
Nice
speed.
way to fall.
Yeah, let me show you a little short one here. You know, it's down the chalk line.
Look at that.
Geez, I can't miss this putt now, huh?
The pros and they have
Yeah.
Tom, it looks a little like it's
I tell you what, it's a lot
downhill
easier
as
to
well,
miss
so
those
that's-
putt on Sunday afternoon than it is out here on the putting
You
range.
can't force yourself to miss it.
That's
yeah.
right. But really, you want the putt going straight back, straight
how
through down
fast
that
that
chalk
turn
line.
goes.
And it, you know, the ball will stay on the chalk line for a while, and then immediately, after it starts losing speed, gravity's going to take over, and
So
it's
you're
going to
not
turn it right
working
down.
that bending putt. You're just still stroking it.
No,
right
in
straight
my
down
mind,
and letting it
every
fall.
stroke is the same. You know, they're all straight putts. I only have one stroke, obviously different speeds on that stroke, be it a hard one or an easy one. But I don't make any compensating move. I wouldn't line up at the hole here and then push out on the putt. Or if I was on a right breaker, line up at the hole and try to pull it back on line. In my mind,
It's tough for me to line up to put away from the hole, isn't it? You?
yeah, but you have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't line up here,
It's not going to
it's not going to go in the hole. That's right.
Now, Tom, you said obviously this is a breaking putt.
Yeah.
Now, to Ron, Claude, and I walking up and looking at this hole, it's not that obvious. Now, there's got to be a process in which you determine that it's a breaking putt, and it's not just walking up and looking at the hole.
I guess to a certain extent, it's from years and years of practice. You know, I have some young kids, and they're just learning how to throw the ball. You know, and I tell David or Paul to throw the ball like I was going to throw it to you, and their first move is like that, and don't get it there. And then their next move is they stand up and they throw it way over your head, which is just tough to throw it over Julius's head. But, you know, after a while of practice, they learn that that's how hard I have to throw it to get it to you. And, you know, they just work on it a little bit, and that's kind of the same thing. I have played for so long and practiced for so long that instinctively I know about how hard I have to hit this putt to do that, and I know how much break there's going to be. I walk on the green, I can see that the mountains are over here, everything goes down toward the valley, the green is laid in here in this way, and I just walk up and I say, well, it's going to break a little bit.
You know, why do you see people plumb bobbing and walking from different sides? I mean, is that all just for show, really, or is there some absolute merit to it that we amateurs should try and incorporate into our games?
I have never been a big proponent of the plumb bob method. When I hold the club up like that, all I see is just a blank shaft, and I can't tell anything about it. But I know some people, like Ben Crenshaw, he uses it all the time, and obviously, as good a putter as he is, he must be able to see something.
Yeah.
You know, I guess in my case, what I do is just come behind the ball and get down low, squat down behind it, and I just kind of get a feel for the lay of the land, whether it how much it's going to break, how severe it is. And obviously a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm aware of the speed of the greens. The faster the greens, the more it's going to break, because the more effect gravity is going to have on that ball.